Association and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Time to be a dad.
From high school to the pros and everything in between.
It's that time again when all we want to talk about is football. High school, college, and pro football. There's one man set to bring it all to you. It's time for Just Football with Matt Emch. Matt was a first-time AP All-Offensive Lineman with the Ursuline Irish and three-time national champion with Youngstown State. And now, here's Matt.
And welcome to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. Good Wednesday, everybody. It's so nice to be back. I had, unfortunately, to miss last week for what else when you're dealing with me. Surgery number 29, not super serious, but hey, almost cracked 30. Almost there, baby. Been a crazy weekend in football. I've never heard more in my life, from pre-play days to play days to coaching days to training days to now being in broadcasting for the past season was 17 years. I've never heard so many angry people talking about fixing the NFL. And I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of agree with them. It's starting to look like there is, in the past they've done it. It's been obvious. I'm going to bring up my Pittsburgh Steelers. 1995, that just incredible dream team they had with Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green, and they were just beasts. And end of that, Dallas, and of course Dallas, one of the best dynasties in the history of the NFL. I'm not trying to sell them short, but at the end of that game, the Steelers had a chance to win, and Neil O'Donnell throws one of, if not the worst interception in the history of the NFL, definitely in the history of the Super Bowl. Oh, and he just throws it to an area where only Dallas Cowboy cornerback, safety, just white shirts with silver helmets with the big blue star on them. And Pittsburgh was wearing all black with the yellow pants. And he throws the end of the game. And that 100%, I will go to my grave feeling that Neil O'Donnell purposely threw that game. Oh, and what did he do after it, everybody? He just got on a plane and flew to New York and signed, I think it was a $10 million contract with the New York Jets. Never showed back up in Pittsburgh, had people get his stuff for him. Boy, that doesn't sound funny, does it? Well, I will always believe he threw that game. We had it. We should have 7. And that infuriates me. And I will always feel like spitting on somebody from Neil O'Donnell's family if I ever see them from that game. And I hate Dallas. I despise Dallas. You can thank my one brother, my older brother, for that, because he was still is the most obnoxious Dallas fan on the planet. So that's why I hate Dallas. And Pittsburgh and them have a history. Big weekend in the NFL championships. We're going to talk, and we're going to have Jim Craven, our own Jimmy. Mr. Craven going to be calling in. He can call in anytime he wants. He's listening. So, Jim, if you're ready, brother, just give me a call. And we're going to go right into the AFC and NFC championship games, where there looks sure like a lot of fixing going on. So we got Jim Craven on the line. Jim, how are you? Oh, he called on the wrong. He used his Facebook. How you doing, Mr. Craven?
Oh, outstanding. Of course, having technical issues.
It's okay. I saw that one. He wants me on video. I guess he wants to see my pretty face.
Fat thumbs, that's all.
How are you?
All right, hanging in there, getting ready for this. I don't know if it's an interesting Super Bowl or not, but it is what it is, I guess.
Well, I'm going to go right to it. As you heard me discussing, that I truly believe that they are not really hiding the fixes these days in the NFL. There is a small group of franchises that Goodell loves, and I have never liked him. I love whenever he does the draft, he gets booed by the entire place every single time he shows his face. What is your thoughts on that, Jim? I mean, do you think there is fixing going on as well, or no?
I think there are times maybe throughout the history of the NFL, I'm sure somebody has shaved some points or did some things they weren't supposed to, but generally speaking, I mean, as a former athlete, surely not one anymore, but I can't see somebody throwing a game just because of the competitiveness, and a Super Bowl ring is worth way more than anything that's got to give them or pay them or anything else. I mean, it's just
that's what they play the game for from the time they can hold the football.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to accept that Roger Goodell could influence anything to the point where somebody's going to throw a game.
Or do you want to stay in the NFL? Lose it.
Well, yeah, and again, when these guys are performing that well, I just don't think they can get rid of them there. Bob Gessler says the same thing, but I just can't see it. It's it's a dream to get there, and I know Roger Goodell makes a lot of money for those owners. Make no mistake, that's why he's been there for as long as he has been.
He has his favorites, though, man. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't. I heard get along with Jerry Jones at all.
Well, Jerry has more money than God, so
yeah,
I mean,
he does.
But in the same respect, like it's from an athletic point, from an athlete's point, I couldn't see anybody throwing anything for anyone just because you go through 18 or 20 weeks of just beatings and work and wear, and to have one guy from New York come in and tell you, well, you're going to toss this.
I mean, look who you're talking to. I would rather die than have thrown a game in my head, and at least being a lineman, just whiffing, blocks and stuff to help lose the game. I would rather die. I would have. I never in a billion years. But what the hell happened with Detroit? I thought for sure. I am so disappointed. Along with, they were America's Cinderella season. I thought for sure they were going. They dominated that first half.
Well, and it goes back to the experience factor. I mean, make no mistake, Detroit is a much better franchise than they were.
Oh my God,
2-3 years ago.
I thought this was the year for them, man. I really did.
And I think you designated it perfect. It was the Cinderella story. They got to the point where, they went up against an experienced San Francisco team. Kyle Shanahan's very experienced. And it's that first half, I don't think San Francisco was expecting that. And certainly I know Detroit wasn't expecting that in the second half.
Right. Well, it's just I have problems with then I guess I have a problem with the defensive coordinator, because how do you give up that cushion that bad. I mean, San Francisco's good, but I mean, all you have to do is just, keep playing the way you're playing. Don't let down a little bit. Yeah, I could see a score here and there, but not losing that kind of a lead for the game that you're going to try to get to your entire frickin' career.
Yeah, and I think that was the case of San Francisco made adjustments and Detroit did not. And that shows the inexperience getting that far, and you're under that big of a spotlight. I mean, this is all new to them for the most part. And you think about the guys that are on that roster, not a lot of them have this kind of experience.
You're right.
Even Dan Campbell. I mean, they went in at halftime probably feeling pretty comfortable, said, look, we're going to stick with what we're doing. It's working. Where San Francisco looked at a few things and said, if we adjust this, we're going to be able to get back in this game. And boy, did they ever.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I give them credit. If I'm going to put it this way, if there was not any funny business going on, then hey, now we have a situation of there is basically a local team, a franchise is owned by Youngstown people. You drive down Market Street in Boardman, you see the DeBartolo building with that big San Francisco insignia, the DeBartolo York building now. I mean, so I don't know. I'm kind of over Kansas City. I would like to see somebody else win one, but I also have a funny feeling about if San Francisco wins the Super Bowl, they get another ring, like to get closer to my Steelers. And I don't like that.
Well, and San Francisco's homegrown, but Kansas City, you saw a side of them this year that I don't know if I like too much,
Yeah.
Take away the Taylor Swift thing, whatever you want to call that.
That's
but,
so ridiculous. I don't even give a crap about it. Top talk.
Yeah. And I think that's where the true football fans are. Yeah. But from a character perspective, I saw a lot of tantrums this year. I saw a lot of panic, anger when things didn't go their way.
Yep.
And, you even take a look at the Cleveland Browns. They had Joe Flacco in there who was as cool as ice. And to me, that's a guy that, will take you a long way. But you can't argue with the fact that, they play passionately. They're there. They're going to the Super Bowl and nobody else is. But it's kind of a turnoff to see some of the behavior, when things aren't going their way. You're professionals,
100%.
You make your adjustments. It's not like it's a poor coaching staff or not a talented team, but it's somewhere. Sometimes that's a turnoff. And then the Taylor Swift thing
is just so ridiculous. It's
a circus. I mean, it is what it is. And
she's
I like
interfering in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean it's good for the NFL in a way. The NFL itself, because it's bringing that attention. Maybe those people that would watch on a normal day because they're Taylor Swift fan.
Well put, well said.
But and then it goes back to Roger Goodell just making more money for the league. Well, now Taylor Swift's making more money.
You know what, man? You just sold me right there when you said I never thought about that part. But you know what? Business speaking wise, very intelligent. I agree with you 100%.
Well, from a business aspect, it's great. From a personal aspect, I can do it.
It's damaging me. Oh, I hate it. I'm
tired of seeing the
I don't care.
Oh, no. I'm tired of seeing the suite where all the rich people were sitting.
Yes.
I'm sitting with Taylor Swift. I don't care. I'm not amused by celebrities.
Right. And
that's not to slight anybody, but it's just, you're just a human, man. You're a singer. Let's keep
you're not Jesus Christ, for God's sake.
But there was something funny that came up, and my son said this. He said, wouldn't it be fantastic if Travis Kelce made her move back to Cleveland with him?
That would be awesome.
Just because you're a multi-time millionaire, let's go live in Cleveland. I think it'd be a great idea.
Man, I would love to see him have her tamed that much that she'd be like, okay. It seems like she is.
We'll see how much she really likes him at that point.
Yeah.
I love Cleveland, but
especially Cleveland is, no offense. Hey, I love, obviously I'm a Steeler fan, but I still, trust me, everybody, I'm not the hater. Like, I don't care who Pittsburgh plays. I hate them no matter what. And I hope they lose. I don't feel that way about the Browns. I honestly wish you guys the best because they deserve a run and a win with the Super Bowl.
And football's better when they're both good and they're playing each other.
The rivalry. I want it back, man. And they've been giving it to us.
And that's, again, that's a coaching deal. But if you ever want a list of what not to do in the NFL, Cleveland can pretty much give it to you. So, maybe Detroit can take some notes. They'll head to the Super Bowl next year. Who knows?
That's just you just mentioning their name. I feel, even though they're not my team, I was just so behind them. I'm like, oh, good for them, man. Go get it, man. It's about time. The Detroit Lions are going to be in the Super Bowl. Oh,
yeah. And boy, that changed really quick. But you got to love the story. I mean, Dan Campbell on that team that was 0-16, and he comes back and he's going to coach them into the Super Bowl. And I still don't think that's a dead idea. I mean, it could happen. But
yeah, but here's
it was a fantastic.
It was fantastic, and it ended tragically. I'm sad, they were the Steelers. But you look at it this way: next year, I hope that they're not a one and done season team and go right back to being the Detroit Lions of old. Because remember this: any team that goes to a state championship and wins, or even just as runner-up, everybody knows that you're good now. They put their big old target on you, and you're going to get everybody's best. So we'll see how good they are next year, because they're not going to sneak up on anybody.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a lot of teams flip in that direction right now. Even with Tampa, with Baker Mayfield, I don't think anybody had much faith in him.
Yeah.
Certainly Cleveland didn't, but with Detroit making the changes, Cleveland
is cursed with quarterbacks. It's just a curse.
Well, and
Joe Flacco, they get rid of him. The kid. I'm going to tell you what. I was excited for you guys, Jim. And then they get rid of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there. I don't know how you tell the fan base, yeah, we had a really successful time with him, but
that was insane. Who was it? I think it was you that told me. And I was like, what the hell? Why would they get rid of them?
Well, and the overall thing, and I don't question Andrew Berry too much. He's really brought the team to a point of respectability. I don't want to go much higher than that, but you fire Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator. You fire the running backs coach. So you wonder what the plan is here. They bring in somebody in, and it looks like it's going to be Ken Dorsey that can build an offense around Deshaun Watson. And it better be successful, because after they've had a taste of a real NFL quarterback with real playoff experience.
That's what I'm saying, man. That was like Troy Polamalu saying he's going to retire even though he's got 5 years left him, and then comes back the following year and it doesn't miss a beat. You got a guy that was in a Super Bowl and won it.
Yeah, and the leadership showed. If things went south, he didn't panic. They would be down. Third and fourth quarter was his time to shine. And Cleveland hasn't seen that since, I would say probably 92, 93 when Kozar was there. Right before he left to go to Dallas.
Yeah.
I just don't know how the fan base is going to accept the fact that we had a guy there and then he's gone.
Well, hey, Jim, hold on, buddy. Just go on hold. You're coming back.
You got
with
it.
Me. All right, everybody, we'll be back. I'm your host, Matt Emch. This is Just Football.
Cryptid Creatures. Find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. Hi, it's Brian. Join me and my co-host Todd as we investigate those things that go bump in the night. We'll talk to real people who have had real face-to-face encounters.
There's two of them across the creek at the big rocks.
With cryptid beings. From Bigfoot to aliens to even demons. By the end, you'll be asking, do I believe? Cryptid Creatures. Find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you tired of settling for mediocre wings at sky-high prices? Belleria Niles has some of the best wing prices in Trumbull County, with 12 wings for $10 with over 15 flavors to choose from. Mention this show, Just Football with Matt Emch, with your order and receive a free cheese puff until January 31st. Belleria at 602 Robbins Avenue, Niles, Ohio. 330-544-FOOD. That's 330-544-FOOD. Belleria, we sell taste one bite at a time.
Do you crave mysteries? Are you fascinated by the unexplained? Then summon your courage and plunge into the deep, dark abyss of what lurks beneath. A YouTube channel that dives into the unexplained, the supernatural, eyewitness reports, and more. The real question is, can you handle the truth? Simply search What Lurks Beneath on YouTube, if you think you're brave enough.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. We still got Jim Craven online. How you doing, Jim?
All right, we're hanging in there, man. Halfway through the week, and looking forward to a couple Phantoms games this weekend. So,
who do they got? And no, don't tell me because Lipper's coming on it. I don't. Oh, I popped out, Jim. Hold on, Jim. You're still here. I pulled out the wire. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, everybody. Technical pull out a wire from the board. It'll take me 1 second. Hello, you there?
That's what you get for working from home. See,
hey, that's the beauty of all this equipment. Since I had surgery, I can't be in the studio, and I'm sitting at home. And I go to the board was like the lip was hanging off too far, so I grabbed it. And the next thing I know, I unplug you. But
I don't know. You might need a producer. Like you can grab any 15 or 16-year-old technologically. They'll be able to take care of that.
Only problem with my 16-year-old is her and Stacy are they're at Dance and Baton right now. So
they're busy. Yeah.
So I'm alone. I guess I could ask my dog Hadley if she can handle. I could train her to make sure the wires are all in. So let's go over to the AFC. I had picked the Ravens to beat them. They definitely were. It's a double-edged sword. I look at the break that the Ravens got, and they're sitting on their can. Now, some teams do well with that, but most teams, if I was a player in that situation, I would not want to be the team that's sitting around.
No, I like that routine, staying in the battle. And here's the thing, and I don't know your perspective, but my problem is I got older and playing into my 30s was the fact that I would start to heal on a bye week. Mm-hmm. And then then I would have to kind of re-aggravate everything as you get into the next week. So handling it from an age perspective is a little different. At least it was for me, that I just wanted to stay beat up because I knew that was I knew that I was going to be okay to move around. But once you start to heal and you get stiff, and then granted, these are millionaires with therapists.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be just chilling. They're supposed to be in full practice.
And but you can't recreate that game situation at practice. You can't get that speed. And, quite frankly, Deshaun Watson's not even allowed to have a massage therapist. So, I mean, there's all kinds of issues.
He's not allowed to have a massage therapist?
That was my attempt at some really bad humor.
Oh, okay. I thought you were serious. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I think he's only allowed to have the team therapist. That's it. So he cannot wander off into Cleveland for the local unlicensed whatever. Which
getting back to, it's like that quarterback position, honest to God, seems like it's cursed. Like whoever plays on the cover of Madden gets cursed. It's like whoever goes in to change the world in quarterback at Cleveland, and then they get Joe Flacco, the guy who, in my opinion, I was like, holy crap, they might win the Super Bowl next year. The curse is still it's in motion. He didn't do anything wrong. He did everything right, and they booted him. The curse is in action.
Well, and the problem is with Deshaun Watson's contract, I don't know how you dump that. Who's willing to take that? How much of a hit are you going to take on it? And for some reason, and I'm not saying he's not even capable, but after what I've seen from him, even when he was
not impressive,
I don't know if he's worth the money that you paid. From the PR standpoint that you had to go through to get him, and like I said, it's becoming tough. And I've said this for 40 years as a Browns fan, but it's tough for the fan base to swallow that you find that guy who captures their hearts and they have faith in him. And then they say, okay, thanks for coming. And he's out the door. Now, there was a rumor, and if you read some articles, that they wanted him to come back. But based on his performance, I don't see him as a backup. But, man, he would be great to have in that building.
Oh, my God. I agree. Just having him is good for the franchise.
But you wonder if Deshaun Watson can handle that kind of pressure.
I was
where
just going to
have a bad day.
Yep.
And they start chanting Joe Flacco.
Yep.
Joe Flacco is the only quarterback that I've heard his name chanted in that stadium.
Trust me, that did not escape. You know what? Again, 2 times in one show, you have made me look in another direction and agree with you 100%. Guaranteed he heard some noises behind him. He wanted him out of there.
And you could see on the sideline, there was and he would smile from time to time, but I would see Watson look uncomfortable.
Yeah. Cleveland embraced that dude.
They love him, and that's kind of where I think the problem will be for Watson is, look, I can't perform with a guy behind me. As soon as I throw one interception, they're calling for my head.
See, I was an unselfish player, not that I'll like, please keep your thought. For me, that would have never been like a problem. It's just you got the prima donna quarterback, man. That's a very sensitive ego there.
Oh, you're looked at in such a way that you're the leader, you're the face of the franchise. But when the fan base doesn't want you, I don't know if you remember a time when Tim Couch was there.
Yes, I do, of course, yeah.
And the breakdown that he had in the locker room because the fan base was on him so hard.
Yeah, that's got to be beyond hard. You know who I feel bad the worst for any player on the field is the kicker. Oh. Some of these kickers through the years who have lost huge, get those poor kids. They will always be remembered as the one that lost the game for them. That there's too much pressure on kickers. That's just so. My heart breaks.
And Coach Kessler says you have one job. That's it. You've got one job,
and it's a hard job.
I think Green Bay had that issue, in the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's I wouldn't want it. Let's put it as an offensive lineman, or a linebacker or whatever else. I could blend in. I could make a mistake. You might get.
Yeah, that's the pressure. That's as much pressure on him as the quarterback has of putting it in the receiver's hands in the game-winning touchdown of the Super Bowl. I mean, it's the same kind of pressure, in my opinion. That's a ton.
Yeah. Like I say, I could blend in when I was a linebacker. I could blend in when I was a center. And if you miss a block, you might see it, you might not. But when you're a kicker, the whole world says, kick it, go out and do your thing.
That's why I give them credit. People are hard on kickers, but I'm like, you know what? The mental, the psychological pressure on like an NFL kicker or even a FBS level good school kicker, that is just some monster cojones that these guys got. I always thought they were treated bad, and you get somebody like my buddy Jeff Wilkins, who they called money in the NFL, and I think he just thrived on that situation. He was a good quarterback too.
He was a phenomenal kicker. We were thankful to have him, and the Rams were thankful to have him.
YSU. I mean, the kid won 3 national championships at a Super Bowl and was in another Super Bowl.
Yeah, and the problem is we live in a time now where if you do something like that, you miss a kick, that you're dealing with the internet. And
some people have killed themselves over that.
Yeah, I never understood it, but
I'm glad we didn't have that. I mean, it's just in general, it's just the pressure I see these kids go under with social media. I'm like, I'm just glad we didn't have it. I didn't want anything. Not that I would be afraid of what could be coming from it. It was just nice not having something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that means we don't have any record of anything silly we did.
Right, which we won't talk about those things.
And I think we might be the last generation to not have that. I'm pretty sure.
It was right after our ages. Yeah. I remember getting a cell phone, my first cell phone. I forget what year it was, but I remember getting it. I mean, they were just compared to what my uncle had, he had, the ones you carry in the case and all that. He was the first one to have one of those, but
then they had the Zach Morris phone, and the flip phones, and fortunately,
the Razor. I wanted a Razor because it was so thin, and I didn't want any big. Because remember, all the cell phones were then they were just huge and bulky, and they had giant batteries on them. Now they're freaking computers.
Yeah, the Walkman that I carried, the calculator. all the cassette. It's all in my phone now. So
I think, everything except CDs and cassette players and record players are. I mean, you can't believe CDs, just like they don't use them anymore. It was like,
no, the kids will never know the struggle.
No,
they will just never
my daughter was like, "What's that?" I'm like, "My God, I'm that old that my daughter doesn't know what a CD is."
Has she ever seen a payphone, like a legitimate payphone?
Yeah, she's seen them. She was like blown away by it when she saw it. There's one, I wish they were here. There was one thing she saw that like she couldn't believe that we had was, the dial phone. She saw one of those and went, "What is that?" And we told her, I had one of those when I lived on Laura Avenue on the north side. We had, and they didn't have the push tone available in my neighborhood. Of course, we were in the ghetto, but I mean, I remember my buddy Sean Ungaro, of course, the mayor. They had touch tone at their house up on Fifth Avenue. But
our was the 100-foot cord that you had in your phone.
Yes. But you think of, like, I was talking about this, just switching gears from football for a second. I was talking to like my wife and daughter about, like, my wife's grandfather, like, he was a mechanic that for Mercedes-Benz and worked on fighter planes in World War II. And, he was like one of those generation. They don't make them like that anymore. But you think about what he watched, how fast technology flew through. When he was in World War II, he passed away maybe, I think it was 5 years ago. So he got to see incredible changes in technology and things. Like, for us, it won't be the same. But for all he remember, he said we had a radio when I was a kid. It's just nuts.
You think they went from the Model T to the man on the moon to the stealth bomber to a phone you can carry around in your hand and does everything for you. It certainly has changed. And again, that's a generation that is going to be unique because now these kids are going to, it's not going to be nothing. It's not going to be anything new for them.
No,
this technology's always been here for, I think you and I are on that cusp of, we grew up, we didn't have phones. Our parents didn't know where we were half the time.
No.
Good. I was okay with that. And now I
plug in
phone.
Wow. Yeah. I remember, you know what else? Cause I still have a video game. I have an Xbox Series X, but I've always had video games, thinking about how the graphics have changed from when I had an Atari 2600 to a Nintendo. And then I remember Sega CD, which didn't last long. And just going to PlayStation and Xbox, and it's been the war with those two forever. But my mother would look at that and she goes, "Is that a game? Is that like a real game?" I'm like, "No." Yeah, that's what Stacey would say. She's like, "Oh my God, that looks real." I'm like, "Yeah, they're pretty."
Yeah,
cool.
Like you went from Tecmo Bowl to Madden.
That's still a great game, though. I got to play that when I was in California last time, with seeing my brother Greg, and he had just so happened to have it. It wasn't the actual game, but it was like a download. Like they had these like they look like old Ataris or something, but they have all these they obviously have a microchip in it, which is preloaded with all these old games because they didn't need but like two megabits. But Tecmo Bowl was on there. I was like, man, I forgot how much I love this game. And then you use the Chicago Bears and no one can catch Peyton. So that was fun.
What was funny is my son, he got a Nintendo with the old games on it, and with Mario Brothers, you can't stop and restart. You have to play until you don't play anymore, because if you shut it off, you have to start at the beginning.
Yeah,
and I'm like, now the struggle, son. Once you work your way over to Zelda, and it takes you about 40 hours.
I loved Zelda. So did my brother Greg. That was a great game. I loved Metroid too.
Yeah, we were simple beings.
Me and my brother Greg played video games all the time until we were adults soon. Like I said, I'm not ashamed to say it. I have the new Xbox. I love it. But anyway, getting back to football, let's get back to the AFC Championship game. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs have been very lucky. Baltimore just played bad. They were just like we spoke about before. I truly, from a football player standpoint, like you, Jim, agree 100%. You're taking weeks off from play. You're at the highest level there is. And these guys, they're rolling, man, just like it's the regular season. You know, Jim, how it is. You get that quote unquote football shape. You can lose that quick in a couple weeks without actual play against, teams when it's not you on the scout team, it's you on the big boys.
Yeah, like I said, I think the thing is, especially if you're into the playoffs and you're going to play even at the college level, 15 games or 13 games, whatever it is, and then the end of the NFL, you're beat up. You're so beat up that that's your normal condition. You're accustomed to it. You're in fight shape, and then a couple of weeks off, you start to heal and muscles start to contract, and you got to tear them apart again. And I don't know if it's an advantage to have that week off. Now, in a situation like Cleveland, they were beat up. I mean, they had a lot of guys out. Obviously, the returning guys didn't help much, but I can understand from that perspective. But if I didn't get the bye week, if I wasn't the number one seed in the AFC or NFC, I don't think I would be upset about that. Other than maybe if I had to travel a little bit, Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. Would you hang out for just a few more minutes?
Sure.
All right. We'll be right back. Jim, we'll be right back. I'm Matt Emch. This is Just Football.
Are you tired of settling for mediocre wings at sky-high prices? Belleria Niles has some of the best wing prices in Trumbull County, with 12 wings for $10 with over 15 flavors to choose from. Mention this show, Just Football with Matt Emch, with your order and receive a free cheese puff until January 31st. Belleria at 602 Robbins Avenue, Niles, Ohio, 330-544-FOOD. That's 330-544-FOOD. Belleria, we sell taste one bite at a time.
Do you crave mysteries? Are you fascinated by the unexplained? Then summon your courage and plunge into the deep, dark abyss of what lurks beneath. A YouTube channel that dives into the unexplained, the supernatural, eyewitness reports, and more. The real question is, can you handle the truth? Simply search What Lurks Beneath on YouTube, if you think you're brave enough.
In the Valley, football is king, and the Mahoning Valley Federals are looking to build the 2024 roster with talent forged in this area to compete for a Tri-Point Football League championship. If you're 18 and older and looking to return to the gridiron, call General Manager John Galbraith at 330-540-1099 or visit the team on Facebook at Mahoning Valley Federals Developmental Football. The Mahoning Valley Federals, honoring the football tradition in the Valley. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. Jim Craven stuck around. We're just hanging out today, everybody. So, what is your opinion of Lamar Jackson's play? I mean, he definitely was, I don't want to keep bringing back up the weeks off, but you can't stop mentioning it because Lamar Jackson looked like he was affected by that time off.
Well, you're talking about an NFL MVP candidate for the year, so you can't take away the succession of games that he had before that, but that was a bad day. Was it bad from they planned very well against us, or was this a day that he just didn't perform well? But Kansas City is one of the, I'll say it, one of the most well-prepared teams. Andy Reid does a good job of getting them ready, and I think that's where the frustration comes in when things don't go their way. Is they're used to being so prepared that any kind of going left of center kind of throws them off. But Lamar Jackson was talked about as being the MVP of the league. I think it was one bad day, and
one and done.
I'm sure he is sitting there analyzing it over and over.
Oh, I totally thought they were going. I really did because. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
I thought that this year he looked more like an NFL quarterback than ever.
I agree.
But, unfortunately, he had one bad day. And, I have concerns about him anyway. He's doing a little less running, but.
They get the hell beat out of them, man. It happens to every one of them.
He's dynamic to have around if he can keep him healthy. But Kansas City did a great job.
They won it, but I really feel they are lucky as hell too. And it's always a good part of luck. Shoot, look at us in 91 and that Villanova game came down to Jeff kicking that game-winning field goal and Herman catching that awesome pass. But man, it's just they're so very lucky that the San Diego Chargers didn't play 4 quarters, because I really think San Francisco's, I just feel like they've just been skimming by, and that's where that ability comes in. They've been there, they've done that the last 2 years. If they win this year, they are the next Patriots. I mean, you can't deny it. I just feel like, oh man, if it would have been Detroit, Kansas City, I 100% would have picked Detroit, because they would have kept playing the way they were playing. And I feel like San Francisco has a great shot.
Yeah, I certainly do. And I like the backstory on some of these things. You think about Kyle Shanahan, his father and Ed McCaffrey's father won in a Super Bowl in Denver. And I like those little football stories. I don't like
and look how good his dad was.
You know what? Ed McCaffrey, great receiver. Christian McCaffrey, I think way better.
You want to know, Christian, that this is the biggest. This is one of the things that I have not been able to move past that has happened in sports over the years. Christian McCaffrey broke every record in NCAA history multiple ways his senior year, and he did not win the Heisman Trophy. That is the biggest shaft in college football for the Heisman, that, in my opinion, in history. That was the biggest highway robbery, and Stacy even knows how angry I get about this, because when she hears me say it, she knows exactly who I'm talking about, the situation, and normally she wouldn't know who I was talking about.
Yeah, and you know what? You look back, and I can't even remember who won it that year.
It was from the Alabama running back. What's his name? Henry, I think, won it.
Was it Derrick Henry? Was it that long ago?
I think so. Yeah, I think. Hold on, let me see.
Make no mistake. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was Derrick Henry. Yeah. Oh my God, he's a beast, but
he's built out a great.
Let's be honest, though. It's supposed to you break every record in the NCAA, and that's supposed to be given to the best player, and that's why I think it's good that they're giving serious thought more and more to defensive players. I'm sick of that crap being just for quarterbacks. This isn't the MVP in the NFL.
Yeah, you wonder often, who these people who are voting, what are they looking at?
It's just a quarterback award. Then just make it a quarterback award, and let's give another award out for the real best player all around. Make it something else if you're only going to give it to quarterbacks. But
well, and I think Christian McCaffrey's in a position right now that he can forgive the Heisman voter.
If he gets a Super Bowl ring, 100% he'll forget about that.
And you think about the time that he spent in Carolina and got nowhere, and then ended up in that position now.
It's all the right team and the right people. And I knew if he got to a different team that he would be fine. People like, he's not meant for the NFL. I'm like, bull crap. That kid gets with the right team, he's going to start lighting it up. And what is he doing?
Yeah, certainly. I think he's going to have a little bit of a longer career out there as well.
His dad was so good.
Yeah, and I think people forget that.
Denver Broncos. 2 Super Bowls.
Christian McCaffrey, he just seems like the next evolution, the upgrade.
Yeah, he's so
it's like
fast.
the Windows update.
Oh my God, is he fast?
I mean, that's and he's tough too. I mean,
he is.
Almost has. I don't want to say he has that same running style as Nick Chubb, but he's north and south. and you one cut and go. And there's not a whole lot of hesitation, and it pays off for him. And if you're an offensive lineman, he's a great guy to have because he'll find the hole. Maybe you look a little better than you really are. So,
what was the running back's name from the Panthers? Smith? Is that who that was? The really good one from the Panthers. What was that player's name?
Oh, I think you're talking about Steve Smith. He was a receiver.
Steve Smith, the receiver. Yes.
I think he was about 5.
They remind me a lot of like each other. Similar, both smaller guys, incredible talent, hard to defend. I mean, he just nightmare if you have to deal with that person. So and you look at him, he looks like do you remember in wrestling in the WWF? You remember Ivan Putski?
Yeah, Polish Power. There you go.
Power. He's built like Ivan Putski. But he's in better shape. I mean, he's ripped. But he reminds me that small, guy. And he's just, I'd love to know what he runs a 40.
Well, and I think that's almost the style of running back that they like in the NFL right now. You talk about McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, and so on. Where these guys are about 5'10", 225. They're short, they're stocky, they're fast, and they're strong.
4.49. He runs a 40-yard dash in a 4.49. My man can move. And
I couldn't do that on a Kawasaki. So
my buddy Diallo Anderson ran a 4.4.
There's a wow.
And Kevin Ellerby ran a 4.3. He was incredible.
Think about the time that they did that. Before the training method changed.
Yeah, man. Well, Kevin was I was a junior when Kevin Ellerby was a senior and Diallo was a wide receiver. We were stacked, dude. The only reason we lost my junior year was because Matt DeVecchio blew his knee out in the first round of the playoffs against Painesville Harvey. We beat them 35-7, but you lose one of your starting tackles. He won the Mack Truck Award the year before I did. He was an all-state tackle. I mean, he was our leader on the offensive line. I mean, we were together the entire season. You know how it is, Jim. You build a rapport with everybody around you. We were like a well-oiled machine. Then Matt went down, and that was just enough of the nick in our armor that Camel was Sean Patton. And then they beat us by 2 points. They kicked the field goal to beat us by 2 points. And if Matt wouldn't have been hurt, it wouldn't have been a contest. We would have been 100%. That was very disappointing. That was heartbreaking.
It's absolutely amazing you can remember that in detail. That whole year, I'm pretty much, I might have had too much fun that year. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember every play I've ever played. I do. I really do. It's like it's seared into my memory.
Well, the only reason I remember is because I don't know if you remember when Warner Cable had the access channel, it was a cable channel 9. And they would put the City Series on there, and then you look at it.
I do. Yes.
We look like a version of Tecmo Bowl then because it was on VHS.
Well, awesome. Hey, Jim, thank you so much for coming by, man. I had a good time today.
Yeah, it's talking about all the struggles of childhood, and they'll never understand Mario Brothers. They'll never understand it.
Right. All right, thanks again. We're going to have Matt Lipsack up next, everybody.
Experience nature's bounty with Creation's Backyard. Elevate your health with the most nutrient-dense foods on earth. From farm to table, sustainably cultivated with care. Grown locally in Niles, Ohio with no chemicals or synthetics ever. Unlock your culinary creativity with Creation Backyard Microgreens. Convenient local delivery and pickup options available. Order now at creationsbackyard.com or call 330-282-7208.
In the Valley, football is king, and the Mahoning Valley Federals are looking to build the 2024 roster with talent forged in this area to compete for a Tri-Point Football League championship. If you're 18 and older and looking to return to the gridiron, call General Manager John Galbraith at 330-540-1099 or visit the team on Facebook at Mahoning Valley Federals Developmental Football. The Mahoning Valley Federals, honoring the football tradition in the Valley.
SNK, painting your house today. SNK, painting your house.
S&K Painting provides exceptional painting and refinishing services to the Mahoning Valley and surrounding communities by being an industry leader in our field, focusing on customer service and delivering extraordinary results. We offer interior and exterior painting, and we specialize in cabinet refinishing with affordable cabinet solution. Call S&K Painting for your free estimate at 330-505-1910.
S&K Painting your house today.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. We're going to go right to the lines. We got Matt Lipsack. We can hear his kids in the background. How you doing, partner?
Good, brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm all right. Who you got with you?
I got Alexis. We are down here doing some scribbling or coloring, whatever your poison would be there.
Can she hear me?
She cannot. No, you are on the headset, so that the noise doesn't come through.
Well,
too heavy.
Tell your wife I said hello, and
Matt says hi.
The kids don't know who I am, so. You say, hey, this guy Daddy calls radio with said to say hi. Would they understand you?
John might.
Okay, how old is she again?
Alexis is going to be 2 in a month and a half, and John is 6.5.
Well, he would understand.
And that noise that you just heard was Alexis dumping the grounds all over the floor.
How have you been, brother?
Oh, we're keeping our heads above water. Busy. I mean, the Phantoms we're on the road for a little bit, but we're getting ready to have a long bit of hockey at the Cavelli Center. I think of the Phantoms' final 27 games, I think 17 of them are at home.
It's crazy, man, how many home games that they got, but that's good for them. What's the home team record?
So on the season, they are 20-10-4-1. At the Cavelli Center, they are 10-1-1-1. So 10 wins, 1 regulation loss, 2 overtime losses for the Phantoms at the Cavelli Center.
Well, they definitely play well when they're home. What is going on? So obviously, I don't know the specifics about. So you're deep in the playoffs, correct?
Oh, no, goodness, no. We've still got 27 games left in the regular season. Oh, my God.
See, that shows you how much I know, Matty. I thought you guys were in the playoffs.
Oh, no. Playoffs don't start till April.
So what does it look like for the Phantoms right now? So when officially, I'm sorry if you said it already, I didn't hear you. When did the playoffs officially begin?
Playoffs officially begin, I think, the 3rd week of April.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I didn't realize how long your seasons were.
Oh yeah, hockey season is long, and obviously, the kids are still in school. The players, that is. So that's part of it is they really only play their games on Fridays and Saturdays. So it's not.
How many games total do you guys play, Matty, in the year?
62 for the regular season.
Okay. It's just wow. I mean, you got to give these players, everybody, nothing but love because that's the closest thing you could ever say is football on ice. Plus, by the way, it is, and then add the precision factor of scoring goals and having to be able to use the stick or just anybody that's never played hockey, grab a hockey stick and try and play with the puck. And these guys are incredible, and I got to see them twice. They definitely. What is your opinion in terms of the team they have right now at this point in the season to be able to compete with another Clark Cup?
I mean, really, from what I have seen, the only team in the USHL that can beat the Phantoms is themselves.
Oh, I like that statement. You should be a coach for them, Lip. I like it, man.
I mean, really, when the Phantoms play their game, there's not another team in the league that can skate with them. Now, we haven't seen all of the teams in the league yet. the Fargo Forest, the team the Phantoms beat in the Clark Cup final last year. They're off to a really great start this year. I think they're like 35-4.
Oh, wow.
Or something along those lines. Fargo's having a very good start to the season. But, I mean, as far as the teams, and the Phantoms have seen every team in the East so far, there really is not a team that can skate with them. It's just really the, are you going to get the consistent night in, night out effort that you need to play championship level hockey?
Well, let me ask you this, like we do all high school football season long, we compare strength of schedule. What's the strength of schedule comparison between the Phantoms and them?
So, I mean, we've played every team in the East so far, at least twice. And we have stacked up pretty well against them. Phantoms were in Green Bay a couple weekends ago and went 1-1-1. Probably should have won the Friday game, but pretty bad call by the refs. Gave Green Bay a goal that should not have been allowed. And that kind of changed the tide of that game, sent it to overtime. And so that, what should have been a 2-1 weekend for the Phantoms ended up being a 1-1-1 weekend.
Right. Well, I mean, they sound like they're definitely a team that can give them what's what.
Absolutely. And, the Green Bay sitting second in the Eastern Conference right now. Phantoms are down in fourth. The first place team in the East is Dubuque. Phantoms split the only two games that they played against the Fighting Saints so far this year. Team in third is Muskegon. I want to say that series might be tilted one game in Muskegon's direction. I think we've played them 4 or 5 times. I think the Phantoms have only won 1 or 2 against the Lumberjacks. But still, I mean, you're seeing what you want to see out of the boys. Just need to see a little bit more consistency is all.
What's the record comparison at this time of the year with last year's team?
This year's team is actually, I think, 3 points in the standings better.
Oh, okay.
So, in fact, if you give me just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry to throw a hard one at you.
Look that up.
I should have prepared you. My bad. I'm actually proud of myself. I'm actually I'm going a little deeper into hockey.
This year's team, so 20-10-4-1 is 45 points through 35 games. Let's see here. This is game. That's 35. So let's see. We need to go one game further.
If anybody you have not seen ever in your life a Youngstown Phantoms game, sorry, I have a little stuffy nose. If you live in the Youngstown area, we have a lot, obviously, of Youngstown area people. We have people from all over the country. In fact, Jim told me he named all these other countries that actually, ironically, are listening as well. I'm curious if it's either somebody that's an American living over there, or if it's actually really somebody that lives in that country and they're listening to us. It's kind of cool, though, man. So the Western Reserve Radio has listeners from all over the place.
So this point last year, through 35 games for the Phantoms, they were 19-12-3-1, which is 42 points in the standings. And right now the Phantoms have 45.
Oh, okay.
So 3 points better than last season, which is honestly, something to say considering, the Phantoms are currently on a 3-game winning streak. Before that, they were on a 7-game winless streak.
Oh,
yes, had some overtime losses mixed in there, so we're still getting some points in the standings. But it, was a rough stretch there after Christmas coming back. Coach Ward thought maybe the team was a little complacent. They ended the unofficial first half of the season there right before Christmas on such a high after sweeping Team USA.
Yeah,
the U18s, and then just came back and had a little trouble putting it together. But got some solid play last week against the U17s, and then we got a 3-3 this weekend, going back up to Plymouth, Michigan to play the U18s tomorrow night, actually.
That's what I was going to ask when you were playing them.
And then home on Friday and Saturday to take on the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders teddy bear toss. is on Saturday night. So if you're coming out to the Cavelli Center on Saturday night, bring a teddy bear, and you can throw that on the ice and let them score their first goal. And all of those, I believe, are going to be donated to Akron Children's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please go. And as I started to say, I had never been to a hockey game, period. And I take that back. I was actually at the University of Michigan, the school, and I forget Michigan State played Michigan, and we were there for some reason. I remember back. I was in high school. That's why we were there. And now I just lost my train of thought thinking back. What were we just talking about, Maddie?
Your first hockey game?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was bringing up Michigan because I did step into the Michigan hockey rink and saw like 3 minutes of it one time. But it's the first time I ever went to Cavelli Center. First time I ever went to see a game, and it was great. So, hey, Maddie, I didn't realize the time, man. I'm having fun with you guys tonight. It was good talking to you.
You too, brother. Take it easy. And before, I'll just get the pick in now. I think I've got the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
All right, brother. I think San Francisco. We'll talk to you later.
I like it.
All right.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye. See you later, everybody.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
The Storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic